To the beat home. To the beat home. To the beat home. To the beat home.
Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. It is 12 minutes past the hour on this sixth day of November, the 37th day of the government shutdown. Welcome to hashtag Truth Be Told, JD Live, your early morning get up, wake up, wake up. And today, the longest government shutdown in American history. Today is a pivotal day for we are going into the holiday season. It is November. Before you know it, Thanksgiving to be here, travel, Thanksgiving, Christmas to be here. People travel during the holiday season. Not to think about all the traveling during the weekends leading up to the holidays, because it is a major time of the year that college football is going on. A lot of people are traveling, period. However, air travel may be stifled today moving forward due to the government shutdown, because they're talking about really pulling back on how much air travel can be traveled due to the government shutdown. Starting to get very serious for folks who are not on government subsidies. Now, Mr. and Mrs. Everyday Jane and Joe, who are Mr. and Mrs. Middle Class Worker who travels from here to there by taking air flight, uh, are now getting affected. Now it's starting to affect those who can afford, but will finally understand how it feels when you don't have folk to make sure everything is okay. We are broadcasting live on Facebook Live, on Instagram, and on Twitter X at the JDMS. We are on YouTube at 100 LK Media. Yours truly, Joe Dupree in the building. Morning, family. Good morning. I'm not going to be here long today. It's an abbreviated Turn Up Thursday shortened show today. I've got a lot to. This is getting to be the most hectic time of the year for me, as it always is, and it is compounded with other things that I have going on. Oh my goodness. But I do want to say this. We have to pay attention. Now is not the time for bickering and arguing amongst ourselves. Now is not the time for you, no matter how well, excuse me, I had to put some coffee in. No matter how well known you are, no matter how right you are, this is not the time to go on social media and go after folks. Um, Time for us to be united. Some of you are got rants on social media. It's not the time. Now is the time. If you need to call somebody out, be man or woman enough to pull them to the side and call them out face to face in personal space, not on social. Now it's not that time. Now it's not that time, family. Now it's not that time. We have to be united more than ever. If you are paying attention to what's going on, one of the things that you can definitely see right now, and I have been telling people, really need to pay attention to more than anything else, is how they're about to change the rules. They're about to change the rules, family. If this shutdown, there's no resolution, don't be surprised that the filibuster don't change. See, there's a lot of things happening. There are folks losing their jobs. There are rearrangings of values that some of us grew up with that are now becoming extinct values because that was the design. We all laughed and kikied, and folks said, "Oh, it had never happened." But did you read any portion of Project 2025? Good morning, family. Tell a friend to tell a friend we will not be here long this Thursday. Places to go, and I got people to see it. 16 minutes past the hour. Tell a friend to tell a friend we do appreciate everybody who's logged in across all the multiple platforms that we are on. I am contemplating, even if I'm going to broadcast them, how much I got. I never really got a chance to talk about what occurred because I live down south. You don't get any further south than me unless you want to go into the Gulf of Mexico. But congratulations to the Democratic Party. Hopefully, this will be a turning point in politics where we can have civil conversation amongst both parties about what is best for the people. This country is becoming more and more divided as the days go by, in my humble opinion, and we got to do better. Dems have swept Virginia. They are now, for the first time, a Muslim mayor is the mayor of New York City. Glass ceilings are being broke. However, the government is still shut down. Let me tell you something. People do not let go of power easily. You have to remember what this country was founded on. You have to understand that everybody who's in this country right now are not descendants of immigrants. I wear proudly the shirt that says Tennessee Volunteers because Tennessee was known as the volunteer state. That meant if you needed some help and you needed some people to come volunteer and help you and whatever, Tennessee was known for that. You got to understand there's a lot of folks that came to this country. There are folks that came to this country. They didn't voluntarily come here. Everybody wasn't gleeful and happy and wasn't fleeing tyranny to get here. There are some folks who literally came here incarcerated, came here in chains and shackles. Had to say it. Won't be on here long. 19 minutes past the hour. On this Turn Up Thursday, turn down for what? I've got to tell you, got to pay attention. Got to pay attention. And let me say this, I'm not a big person to ring bells and hit the horns and give applause. There are winners and there are losers. Elections have consequences. And let me say this, I have heard some people, because the Republicans and the Conservative Party has a stronghold in the South, but I've heard people say what you saw happen up north will never happen down south. And I go, never say never. However, I don't know what cost that will come at. And let me be very honest, I don't know if that's going to be the right thing to happen. And here's why I say that. Not because I'm anti-Democrat or because I'm pro-Republican or vice versa. I'm not anti-Republican or pro-Democrat. I am pro the people. And when are we going to get individuals who sit in offices that represent us, the people? Because understand this, I know Democrats right now who have flip-flopped and changed parties and become Republicans. They're the same people, they just switch parties. So let me ask you this, if you're the same person and you switch a party, does that change the party or does that change you? Say that again. I know Democrats, folks who flew under the Democratic banner, who went in politics and said they were Democrats, but all of a sudden found out because of a conservative movement and because there were folks who weren't black and brown, who were strong in the conservative movement, who all of a sudden were the people with the money and with the ability. Does when you change your party, you're the same person who was the Democrat. You can't tell me that your ideologies has changed that much just because you changed the party. We have people here, if you look, they weren't always Republican. They were Democrats. So the question is, when they changed parties, did they change? Or did they just say in name they're changing in order to get certain folks to believe that the ideologies they stood for was what the party stood for? I'm not going to be here long. Not today, fam. No, everybody should be watching because guess what? Everybody should be watching the character of individuals, not the party they're connected to, because bad people will connect themselves to good organizations and still be bad people. Y'all got to pay attention. Now, I'm not like some other folks of mine, friends of mine, folks in this business who do podcasts, who do media. You know, locally, I got a guy who will sit down and educate you very, very well in what politics is and what it ain't. He is an astute student of the political system. Has a great radio show. That radio show has been running for years in this area and is a councilman, is a advocate for the people, for the community. Do I agree with him all the time? No, I don't. Am I against him? Not at all. Think he's a great guy. See, I can disagree with you and not fall out with you. You and I can do the same thing, and I'm not in competition with you. I am the type guy that says, once again, I am a people of the people, with the people, and for the people. The party I represent is the people, not the Democrats, not the Republicans, but the people. That's the party I rock with. Because all that minutia and all that hogwash of this conversation and that conversation, I can walk right now to City Hall in my city and I can look my mayor president in the eye, or my mayor in it, no matter what city I am in. I can look my mayor in the eye and I can ask the following question. If you represent me, let me ask you a few questions. Question number one, how many times have you been on government assistance? How many times have you watched your mother struggle while she was on government assistance? How many times have you seen your father struggle to get a job? How many times have you seen your parents have to choose between keeping on the lights and keeping food on the table? I don't have a problem, no matter what city I live in, going to the mayor and asking those questions. Here's why. Most of them have not felt what we felt. Most of them come from affluent families who don't know what the struggle is. However, they convince us to vote for them and they represent us. How can you represent me when you've never been through what I've been through? Now, folk then will argue, I don't have to go through what you've been through to represent you. And we may can sit down and have a meaningful debate about that. However, it ceases to amaze me how folks come into our neighborhoods, solicit our votes, and then when it comes down to key issues that we need to be at the table and in the conversation of, we normally don't find out until decisions have been made. And that's everywhere. That's just not in the small municipality I live in, though I do live in the fifth largest city in Louisiana. That's all over the United States of America. Places that have harmony and success normally have people who know how to collaborate together. And somebody yesterday called me and asked me, will I once again go down this rabbit hole of speaking about organized religion? I've said what I had to say. If you want to go back and look at some of the prior podcasts, you can. I told y'all, I'm not here to fight, to fuss, or to argue with anybody. I'm going to state the facts as I see them. If you can show me where those facts are incorrect, I will counter my facts immediately. I will come on the same said platform and say, after further review and more information, you know, I had a philosophy and now I see my philosophy completely wrong. My question is, how many of you will do the same thing? How many of y'all will examine your ideology, the way you see things, the way you think things are, and when you realize you're wrong, come back and say to the same people that you said you were right to, after further review, now I realize I wasn't right at all. Somewhere there's a word outside of accountability and responsibility, seems to be a lot of us have forgot about it. It's called integrity. I got a lot of phone calls yesterday. And mind you, I am busy. I work. This is my pleasure. This has been an occupation that I have been paid from in my latter days, you know, and I still today in ownership of a few things that I do in media and multimedia get some checks today. One of the checks I don't get is a Meta check, really, because Meta ain't that big for me. You know, some of y'all got to go on live because that's your source of income. And listen, who am I to talk about the way a person get their money? That's another thing. I don't pocket watch or pocket count. I don't care. I do what I do because I know what I was told to do in my spirit. I'm not here to tell you what to think, how to think. You need to begin to think. I'm not here to tell you what to do or how to do it, but do something. Just don't sit around and always be grumpy Gil, complaining about this, talking about that. Let me tell you something. If you're going to complain about the right, you better complain about the left. If you're going to complain about the blacks, you better complain about the whites. If you got a problem with the men, you better have a problem with the women, because ain't nobody walking on God's green earth that's perfect. Everybody got something wrong with them. Y'all just have selective ways y'all want to talk about folks. Stop being selective in your criticism. Criticize every damn body. 49 minutes past the hour. This is an abbreviated show today because I own it, because I can do it the way I want to. I'm only doing 30 minutes. And most of my 30 minutes was really saying we're coming on soon. I got to get out of here, family. Look, I'm ending it a little early today, and I just want to say, listen, to the winners from the elections, congratulations. From the losers of the elections, don't just have a L in the loss column. Learn something from the loss. Ask yourself, why did the people not decide to vote for me? What was it that was said that made the other person more attractive than me? And make adjustments that should you decide to run again, maybe the next time you will become victorious. Now, you can't do like other folks I know. You can just go ahead and switch parties. Seems to be that helps certain folks get in office. But let me tell you something. If it look like a duck, walk like a duck, and quack like a duck, I don't care if it's a Republican duck. I don't care if it's a Democratic duck. I don't care if it's an independent duck. I don't care if it's a Green Party duck. I don't care if it's a duck is a duck. A duck may have other adjectives to describe it, but at the core, it's still a duck. Be better today than you were yesterday. And do something today. Do something today to bless somebody that there's no earthly way that they could ever pay you back. And always remember, on this abbreviated Turn Up Thursday version of hashtag Truth Be Told JD Live, there is no secret what God can do. What he has done for others, he can do for you. But when God is with you, nothing or no one can stand against you. Be blessed. Have a great Thursday. Tomorrow is Freedom and Fun Friday. I may be on, I may not be on. But either way it goes, have a great weekend, because Friday is the beginning of the weekend. This is Friday Junior. I'm up out of here. Peace.